And welcome back to the show at 6:47. By the way, we were just talking about a second before the break about kind of thinking about corporate reform for the betterment of the country. Just mind you, it will never happen because, you know, if you go from quarterly to annual reporting, you're talking about billions of dollars of lost revenue for accountants and lawyers and the printers that have to print up these massive corporate binders and, you know, just so forth and so on. So the lobby groups, well, you know, if the lobby groups could have it, we go to monthly reporting. Weekly. Yeah, we're reporting every day. You know, and that's actually brings up a very interesting idea, you know, because everything's accessible on the internet now, right?
Yeah, there's no need.
There's no need for quarterly reporting. Why don't we just, and again, this is kind of one of the interesting aspects of blockchain, right? That we could use blockchain technology to link directly to corporate, you know, quote unquote, statements, right? Their accounting, finance, balance sheets, you know, whatever it is. And we could just have real time. Why can't we just have real time access to their numbers? And we can just see the flow of money every single day and make our own decisions. I mean, we're getting ridiculous here, but the point is that there's, you know, this whole annual parade of reporting, et cetera, really isn't even necessary because we already know most of this data.
Talk about your non-essential people.
Yeah. By the way, there's a, you know, we've talked about previously about Bitcoin, and
yes,
of course this was the offshoot of blockchain. And the interesting thing is that, you know, blockchain is supposed to be the thing, right?
Yeah.
This is the thing because blockchain is going to change our world as we know it, and it's got some very interesting aspects to it because again, it's you know, it's a function to where I'm going to wire money to Brent, right? So I have to go to my bank. My bank sends money to Brent's bank. Brent's bank then verifies that it's correct to the account, et cetera, so forth. So what blockchain does is just basically integrate all the parties so it's instantaneous. It's more complicated than that, but that's a nutshell.
It's like OneNote for finances.
Sort of, yeah. But it could be for anything. I mean, this can be for doctors working on a patient, or because everybody's linked up real time and everybody's validating each other's data, right? It's interesting, though. So off of this came this whole Bitcoin phenomenon, right? Everybody came out with a Bitcoin. Two interesting stories out of this is one of the founders of a particular, it's not Bitcoin itself, but it's like Bitcoin. It's a blockchain coin.
A blockchain.
A blockchain coin. Yeah. He died.
Oh.
Yeah. $190 million of currency tied up into the founder. So the founder of this particular Bitcoin, he dies. He had the only code.
The only password.
Yeah. So none of these people can get their money back because the passcode is in the grave.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, so they're all trying to figure out this is, so, you know, this is part of the, and we brought this up before, right? Which is, you know, Bitcoin sounds great. It's all technology driven. It's all cyber, you know, crypto. Well, you know, we constantly have stories about where somebody got cyber hacked and they lost, you know, $500 million of Bitcoin value. We told you the story about the guy in London that had been mining Bitcoin on his laptop. And he, you know, had been doing it for, this was when Bitcoin was pennies, right? And hadn't done anything yet. So he'd been mining Bitcoin on his laptop, and he had like 1,000 Bitcoin or whatever it was very early on. And his girlfriend was complaining about him mining Bitcoin, and it was loud, it was noisy, it was taking all of his time away from her. So he throws his laptop away. Oh, then he discovers like 3 years later, his Bitcoin's now worth $100 million.
Where's the laptop?
And he hired people to go to, I don't know if he ever found his laptop, but they actually went to the landfill trying to find his laptop for $100 million. So I don't know if they ever found it, but that's the whole point of this, right? So, I mean, once it's gone, once you lose that code or you get hacked or whatever, it's gone. So interestingly enough, you know, this guy dies and he's got the only code. And so there's $190 million worth of people's money. Here's the point of the story is that be careful. You know, I get the whole thing about Bitcoin. It's cool. It's fascinating. It's only lost 95% of its value, which, by the way, we were here on the show last year saying this was going to happen. And so here we are. But anyway, there is value to the blockchain. And here's what I find interesting. So we have all these people chasing Bitcoin. We talk about all the stories that happens with Bitcoin. Of course, you know, Bitcoin mining, that was a thing in 2018, where people would sit around with computers and they would mine for Bitcoins. It's clean mining. It doesn't destroy the environment, apparently. There's no coal dust.
Except for the power required to
To do it.
yeah.
So when Bitcoin crashed, nobody obviously wants to mine Bitcoin anymore, and of course we've seen the impact for companies like Nvidia, which provided all the microchips for bit mining, has absolutely destroyed their revenue. But here's what's interesting about this: after all this time, I cannot find one company that is doing something on actual blockchain. Now, maybe there's somebody out there really small that's actually integrated blockchain into their business model. I just haven't found them yet. But this was supposed to be the game changer for finance, right? Banking and investment was supposed to completely change because of blockchain. We were supposed to all move to blockchain. This was going to change the entire dynamic. And I'm not saying that we're not going to eventually, because the idea and the technology actually has real merit. I just find it interesting that after, 2 years now of this advent, or actually it's been more than that, it's been over 3 years now since the advent of Bitcoin, that there's still not a viable application running on blockchain.
Where are all of the early adopters?
Yeah, I know. They're all chasing the Bitcoin, right? Everybody
Yeah.
jumped on the Bitcoin. We had a guy on our show that was running moonlighting, and was a company, and basically he had developed a coin called Moonbits.
Yep.
And what his business did was lawn mowing services, and you could buy Moonbits to, and pay for lawn services through his Bitcoin, right? It is what it is.
His wife thought he was a moonbat.
It is what it is. But but again, it's interesting. But yet, even that, he had the blockchain technology, but he was using the coin version of it to actually fund his business. So you'd buy his Moonbit, and then you could give him his Moonbit back to come and mow your yard. So I'm not sure why you just wouldn't use cash. But that's just me. I'm old school.
Well, some applications are going to be more inclined to be able to use this thing than others. I'm not sure lawn mowing is one of them.
Yeah. Let's go back to the original use of cryptocurrency.
Yes.
Which is where it was the most successful. Drug dealing, prostitutions, and murder for hire.
There you go.
Cryptocurrency started on the dark web, and it was being used by criminals to, sell drugs. Of course, there was the whole arrest of the gentleman that was running the Silk Road website on the dark web. Of course, he was a major drug trafficker, and they were using cryptocurrency. And I think the FBI finally cracked his code to get some of the money back.
Yeah.
But he wasn't giving it up.
No.
He's like, yeah, it'll go to my grave with $190 million that went to the grave of the other guy. So yeah, it's but that's where this all started. And of course, the advent of this really kind of going mainstream was this fear of government control over currency, and that the U.S. currency was going to collapse, and you had to get your money out of U.S. dollars into cryptocurrency. And of course, that was a whole movement with millennials. It was a very big movement with them, because they were trying to get their money out of the U.S. dollar. But as I've always said, ultimately there is going to be a cryptocurrency. I don't know what it's going to be, but I will tell you this. It won't be a private cryptocurrency. It will be a government-run cryptocurrency. It will be a cryptocurrency issued by the Federal Reserve of the United States, or by the ECB in Europe for European players. But we will eventually move to a cryptocurrency base at some point, because it's cheap, it's trackable, it's fundable, and it eliminates a whole lot of the other issues with running what's called a fiat currency, a currency backed by nothing. So you'll no longer need to print dollars. And we waste a lot of money every year actually making coins. It costs more to make a penny than a penny is actually worth. It's getting very close to printing a dollar bill actually costs more than the dollar bill is worth. I mean, we're getting there slowly but surely. So because of inflation. So we will eventually make that move. But at the end of the day, the only cryptocurrencies that will survive will be the ones that are operated on a government basis, because ultimately governments are never, ever going to let control of the control of currency to any third party. They'll pass rules or regulations saying and outlawing any other cryptocurrency because of the simple fact that a currency, and we talked about this a bit yesterday about the importance of a sovereign currency as part of an economic stability, that countries will never let go of the sovereignty of their currency, much like a border. The sovereignty, a secure border, a strong border is what provides the sovereignty of a country. A currency also provides the sovereignty of a country's stability. And without control over that currency, a whole waft of other problems occur. So, yes, there will eventually be a cryptocurrency, and it will be successful, and it will be run by your friendly Federal Reserve and U.S. Treasury. And they will know exactly what you spend money on and where you spend it and where you go. Not unlike they do now. I mean, obviously, if you go, it still freaks me out. Every day I get advertisements on my websites for, female clothes and purses and shoes. And I know my wife's been prowling Amazon because she uses my account. So any website I go to, I can know exactly what she's been looking up because it's on my websites. So there you go. Everybody knows everything.
In real time.
Exactly. You know what? They're starting to actually know it beforehand. That's what's getting really scary. I think you're going to be looking for this in the next couple. How do you know that?
It's predictive marketing.
Exactly. I think you're close to running out of this item. Here, it's on sale. All right, wrap it up for the day. We'll be back tomorrow for Thursday's edition of the Lance Roberts Show right here at the Voice of Texas. Get by the website, realinvestmentadvice.com. Our new articles are up this morning, as well as your ability to ask questions and comments. Love to have you ask questions. Always happy to help you. Get by the website, realinvestmentadvice.com. Chris Salcedo coming up next, right here on the Voice of Texas.
You can get daily real investment news you can use, delivered at the speed of the internet. Sign up for Lance's newsletter now at realinvestmentadvice.com.